Do I have audio? Hope I have audio. Oh no, I guess we'll find out. So this week we're shiny hunting. I know I said we were gonna finish Donkey Kong. That was the plan. I'll be honest, that was the plan. The thing is, I've heard the last world of Donkey Kong Country is pretty fucking brutal. I don't know if I'd put Aladdin in my top 5. Admittedly, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I don't know if I'd go that far. Yeah, so I know I said I was going to do Donkey Kong this week, and admittedly, that was my plan. The thing is, this week, I don't have that much to talk about. Sure, we do have a State of Play, and we do have a Captain America movie, so there is definitely stuff to talk about. But it's not that much stuff, and like, I figured at most I could probably get like 2 hours out of it, which isn't actually a lot. Like, 2 hours isn't that much in the grand scheme of this show. Whereas I suspect Donkey Kong's gonna take me like 3 hours to beat. So that's why I decided, you know, we're not gonna do Donkey Kong, and we'll do that next week. Now, why do I say we'll do Donkey Kong next week? Simply put, I think it's far more likely that we will have more stuff to talk about next week. Not because there's going to be like a Nintendo Direct or anything, but because there are a lot of TV shows airing right now that I really need to watch, and I just don't have the time to watch. But hopefully in this, because I know I said last week, oh, we'll talk more about Moon Girl next week. We'll talk more about, I don't know, we'll finally talk about Severance. We'll talk about Invincible, right? I have all these shows to talk about. I only watched a single episode of Moon Girl in the past week. I have not gotten to Severance still. I think we're up to episode, 4 of Invincible? And I've only seen the first one. I think we're up to 4. Spider-Man, I've only seen the first, like, 2 or 3 episodes. And I think we're up to, like, 6 or 7. So there's a lot of TV shows I need to watch. So hopefully by next week I'll have watched those. And that'll mean we'll have a lot to talk about. Because, yeah, I worry Donkey Kong's going to take, like, 3 hours. Meanwhile, shiny hunting, we can go as long as we need to. So that's the whole reason why we're not doing Donkey Kong this week. But we will, hopefully, next week. And if not, I can force it next week. Because this week we have the Marble League. But we have the final 2 events of the Marble All-Stars. Next week, there is no Marble League. So that's a little different. So yeah, we're shiny hunting. This is an event that ran last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, where it's Fletchling, Starly, and Pikipek. And so it's those 3 Pokemon. And, you know, I've been doing some shiny hunting recently. And so when I saw these 3, I was like, yeah, sure, let's do that. I booted up, because if you load up the game, connect to the online, and then save and turn off the game, the shiny spawn rates will just stay saved into your game until you turn on the online again. So that's not really anything I have to worry about. So our goal is to find 3 of each. 3 Fletchlings, 3 Pikipeks, and in theory 3 Starlies. But technically I already have a shiny Staraptor in Legends Arceus. So if we don't get a shiny Staraptor, or if we like only can find 2, then yeah, it's no big deal. But we need 3 Fletchlings and we need 3 Pikipeks. I think the shinies are pretty, at least Fletchlings here, I think the body changes to like a brownish color. So that one's not going to be too bad to find. Starly is kind of the same way. Like, I know its beak gets lighter, and I want to say its body gets lighter as well. Like, it goes from a brown to like a light brown. Picky Peck, on the other hand, I think the only change is its eye color. Its eye color changes from blue to green. At least that's what it looked like on Cerebi. That looked like the only change. So that one might be a struggle. But these are admittedly, I'm not using a 3-star sandwich. So these are, you know, just shiny charm, event boosted odds. So I think it's like 0.5 boost. So it's not a crazy boost. But I've done this plenty of times before. I'd be amazed if we didn't get these all in one night. I found, like, when the last event, one of the last events, the Citadel event, I found 4 shiny Citadels in like 20 minutes. So I totally think in like an hour, at most 2 hours, we can find, you know, 9 shinies. I don't know, we'll see. Because sometimes I just catch extras for the hell of it. Depends on how hard some of them are to find. Like, if we're having good luck finding some of these guys, sometimes I'll just be like, you know what, fuck it, let's get a 4th. So keep that in mind. So, what is the thing today? So, news-wise, we've got one main story, that being the state of play. And then we've got 2 smaller stories, one relating to PlayStation, which is an Astro Bot is getting a new update. So I do want to talk about that. And then the other one is a Switch 2 update. There was another Switch 2 patent information thing, and I just kind of wanted to like briefly talk about it. That's good. Other than that, you know, we don't really have much else. We got some stuff in WIBE. We've actually got a few things. But mostly it's just 2 movies. So yeah. So let's start off with the state of play. So, after watching the state of play, I'll be honest, I was not impressed at all. There was nothing in the state of play that really appealed to me. No, I did not. I don't use Instagram. So I don't know what it does. But whatever people are criticizing the White House for, I'm sure they deserved it. Admittedly, I know Elon Musk's kid told the president to fuck off, which was very funny. But, because, you know, Elon Musk is the real president. Because Trump's just an old fat man who doesn't want to do anything. But, yeah. So yeah, I was not impressed with the state of play. After watching it, I was kind of like, oh no, this kind of... I'm not going to say it's the worst state of play ever. Like, I've seen far worse shows. Like, I know this one was kind of long. It was 46 minutes. 46 minutes with nothing to show can kind of suck. But at that length, there are more likely to be stuff you are interested in. And to be fair, there was some stuff I was interested in. So, I'm not going to be talking about everything, but let's just go down some of these lists. We've got some new information on some of these things, and of course, I do want to talk about it. So the first thing is, so the show ended with what, in my opinion, is the most important announcement. The biggest announcement, which is Sorrows. It's a Valentine's Day image with Trump and some other old guy's face, and it says roses are red, violets are blue. Here illegally and will deport you. Yep, that very much sounds like something the president would do. So, the last announcement of the state of play is Housemarque. And they announced their new game, Sorrows. Would you look at that? We already found... It's been 15 minutes, and we already found our first shiny. I'm just going to use quick balls on everything. I might need to buy some more. So, Sorrows is developed by Housemarque. If you do not know who Housemarque Housemarque was a third-party PlayStation studio that, you know, they made third-party games for a while. I couldn't really actually tell. I think they did Res Infinite. That sounds right off the top of my head. But, you know, they were a third-party studio, and then they actually got acquired by PlayStation a few years ago. PlayStation actually acquired Housemarque, and I can't remember if this was before or after Returnal, but their most recent game was a game called Returnal, which is a... roguelite? Returnal is a third-person roguelite shooter. And from what I've heard, it's actually pretty good. It's, you know, not the most amazing PlayStation game ever, right? It's no God of War. But I've heard it's a really good game. And it's one of those things where it's kind of like always been on my list, but I've never actually bought it or played it. But I kind of do now. And I am listening to people talk about Soros. I'm actually kind of excited for it. Because what they talk about is, you know, Returnal was good. But it had its issues. In that, given a chance to make a sequel, they'll make something fantastic. And that's what Sorrow seems to be. It is not a sequel to Returnal. It's more a spiritual sequel. And yeah, that sounds really exciting. I kind of think the same way about Days Gone. Right? Days Gone was not a perfect game. It had its flaws. But if they had had a chance to make a sequel, they probably would have made something really good. Of course, that's probably never going to happen, despite the Days Gone remaster getting announced at the showcase. But that's kind of my hope for Soros. I keep wanting to call it Soros. It's Soros. I am kind of hopeful for that. Listening to other people talk about this game has got me way more excited than actually just seeing it, even though I do love the aesthetic. The whole blacked out sun, the black holes, the bright orange colors. I very much like the aesthetic. I totally do understand how I confused it for, like, On the Beach or Helldivers. But no, that's got me interested. The other thing that really has me interested in Soros, who I did not recognize at the time, the main character in this game is played by Raul Cooley. Cooley? I think that's right. Raul Cooley. If you do not know who that is, he is an actor. He was in the show iZombie, which admittedly I never saw iZombie, so I don't really have much reference on that. But he was in the show Haunting on Hill House. If you did not see Haunting on Hill House, it was a very good show. It's one of the few horror shows that I will actually watch. And yes, it can be pretty fucking scary. But then again, I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to horror. So I liked him there. I honestly didn't know much about the guy until he was on Kinda Funny's podcast. He's been on multiple episodes of the Kinda Funny podcast, and he's always great there. He was great in Haunting on Hill House. I know iZombie is a thing that exists. So him being the main character in this also gets me very interested. Because I do like the guy. He seems great. So yeah, and I only found out because is he dating Alana Pierce? I don't know. He's either dating or married to Alana Pierce, or maybe they're just roommates. I'll be honest, I have no idea. But I was watching one of her videos, and he pops up in it, and is like, "Yeah, I've been keeping this secret for like a year now," and finally he gets to talk about it. And yeah, that's cool. So I'm actually, Soros is like the one thing where it's like, you know, at the time I was like, okay, you know, sequel to Returnal, whatever. The more I hear about this, the more I'm like, no, this could turn into something great. So the next thing, are we going in backwards order? Kind of. So we got a look at Mind's Eye. This comes from Leslie Bensi, who is a former producer on the GTA franchise. And basically, this Mind's Eye, it looks like Cyberpunk. It's, yeah, that's the only thing I can compare it to is Cyberpunk, you're in Las Vegas, even though I'm pretty sure the Phantom Liberty DLC potentially took place in Vegas. Don't quote me on that. But it looks like Cyberpunk. And, in theory, like, if you had told me, like, a decade ago, hey, the guys who, some of the people who worked on GTA are working on a new, GTA-style game, but it takes place in the Cyberpunk future, I'd be like, oh, that sounds awesome. I love that idea. But I feel like so many of these, like, spiritual successor projects just never work out. So I'm not actually very excited for this at all. And I don't know, there's some stuff in this trailer that just kind of looks too good to be true. So, yeah, I'm skeptical. But I'm not skeptical without reason. We saw Metal Gear Solid Delta. I know the release date leaked, but it has a May 28th release date. And yeah, it still looks fine. Admittedly, I know nothing about Metal Gear Solid, but everything seems to be good. Ape Escape DLC or whatever that's gonna be. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, it's, more Metal Gear. I know people are excited for it, and I do have to play a Metal Gear game, because I hear they're all good, and I've never played one. I own Phantom Pain, but I never actually played it, so we'll see. We got Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I have since learned that this is from the developers of Streets of Rage, and it looks fine. There was that one game that was shown off during the Game Awards. It was Blood... It was something... Was it Blood and Rage? Or am I thinking of Bloom and Rage? I don't know. There was a game shown off in the Game Awards that was like a ninja game made by the developers of Blasphemous that I'm like, genuinely might be amazing. Like, that looks really interesting. But this looked fine. It had an interesting art style. It might be good. What is the game I'm thinking of? Game Awards, Blood and Rage. No, I just keep seeing Bloom and... Okay, so it must not be Bloom and Rage. Awards Ninja? It's not Ninja Gaiden, is it? Oh, maybe it's just Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Yeah, I guess because we got that new Ninja Gaiden 4, that made me think it wasn't Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, so Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is made... I knew Rage was in there somewheres. Made by the guys who did Blasphemous. That's one I'm generally excited for. Even though I hate fucking some of the bullshit Ninja Gaiden stuff. But, no, this kind of reminds me of that, and that's not a bad thing. We got Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Hey, Storm, how's it going? We're talking about the state of play. Any thoughts on that? So, we got the new Sonic game, and it's Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and the whole gimmick is that when you're driving, whoever is in first place gets to pick what direction the race goes. So you'll be in first place, 2 rings will pop up, and the person in first gets to pick, like, oh, do you go to Green Hills, or do you go to Chemical Plant Zone? Or, sometimes they'll have, like, the option, like, oh, you can go to Oil Ocean, or you can just go to a random track. You can roll the dice and do whatever. And I honestly think that's a really interesting idea. Like, yeah, it is, but I'll talk about it here in a second, actually. I have a conspiracy theory. I think that the new Sonic Racing game, it kind of reminds me of Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart, where you could just, like, suddenly open the rifts and go to a new world. Like, that seemed interesting. Admittedly, I didn't play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, but, it looked like a good game. And I heard people liked it. But no, everything I've seen of this new Sonic game, I think actually looks pretty good. And so they're doing a beta test. The beta test is next week. It's a closed beta. You can sign up for it, but it is PlayStation exclusive. Yes, I have already signed up for it. We'll see. We shall see. What's my favorite shiny? What is my favorite shiny? I actually have no idea. Part of me wants to say Zoroark. I like Zoroark in Zorua. The purple and the blue colors look very nice. So I kind of want to say that. So my theory with Sonic Racing. So back in the day, we used to have Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympic Games. So we used to have those, but we don't get those games anymore. The Olympic crossovers have been canceled. But you know what I could see happening? What if Mario, or another Nintendo character, appears in this new Sonic game? Sega has said that they're going to be putting non-Sonic characters in the new Sonic Racing game. Just other, Sega characters. What if on the Nintendo Switch version, maybe the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and only on the Nintendo Switch 2 version, Mario is a character? Now, what does Nintendo get out of this? What if Sonic is in the new Mario Kart? What if... Because, people always want to compare, Mario Kart and Sonic Racing. They're obvious competitors. And, I get that, but honestly, they're kind of in their own separate leagues. And when, Sega had a racing game out on the Wii U, guess what? Sonic still appeared as a Miiverse costume in Mario Kart 8. I think it is totally possible that we might get a Sonic and Mario crossover in both the games this year. I think that is 100% possible. And, it being Nintendo Switch exclusive, it kind of be like the Mario and Minecraft thing. But I think it is totally possible. Why did they cancel the Olympic crossovers? Because the Olympics wanted to start making NFTs. They wanted to start getting into cryptocurrency and NFTs. No joke, that's the real answer. Favorite shiny that I own? Again, probably the Zoroark. Those are... I actually caught both the Zoroark and the Zorua I bred from an egg on stream years ago. I was doing it, I was as a joke, I was you know what, let's just load up a random raid that was a Zoroark and just happened to be shiny back in X and Y. And then I was let's breed some eggs for Zorua. And an hour later, I pulled it. It was a very successful day. Now, of the 3 shinies we're hunting today, Pikipek. Oh, I love Cloth's blue. I love blue Cloth. I think that's a great answer. But yeah, no, of the 3 we're hunting today, I like Pikipek the most, mostly because I like 2 cannons. I like how 2 cannons cannon takes on it's basically the bisexual flag, but I really like those colors. It's not too sharp of a change, but I think it's form over function. Right? It's minimalist, but it's very effectively minimalist. Whereas, Talonflame and Star Raptor is just kind of slight changes. Talonflame does a little more, but no, I like the changes in Pikipek's beat colors. But yeah, NFTs, that's what killed the Mario and Sonic games. No joke. And that's why when esports comes to the Olympics in 2028, they're going to be stupid mobile NFT games. But no, I am excited for the new Sonic game. I think... I kind of... because I've been playing Mario Kart 8 for over a decade now. And, well, yes, we do have a new Mario Kart coming out this year. And I am excited for it. I'm not chomping at the bit for it, I'm waiting. I need to see more of Mario Kart. Whereas I feel even in just, basically like 2 months, what we've seen of the Sonic game has promise. Do I think it's going to be as good as Mario Kart 8? Probably not. Or Mario Kart 10, I mean. Yeah, probably not. But I still think it's going to be good. At least I hope it's going to be good. I don't know. Like I said, I signed up for the beta test next week. We'll see if I actually get into it. I don't know if the beta test is going to be a no-stream thing. Different companies do different things. I know when I was a beta tester for Fall Guys, I couldn't, stream any of that or record any of that. So, to each company their own. But if I can, we maybe will. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. Next up, we have Like a Dragon. Also, I think a Sega game. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. If you have never played a Yakuza game, the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is so good. The Yakuza games are so good. And you literally can play Pokemon in Yakuza. Right? The original Yakuza Like a Dragon had an entire Pokemon. And it was just like a sub-game. It was like a game buried within a game. And I'm pretty sure Like a Infinite Wealth has something similar where you can just play Pokemon in Yakuza. And they're not subtle about it at all. At one point you go in and you're in a room and this guy's like, hey, choose your partner. And it's a guy in a red suit, a guy in a green suit, and a guy in a blue suit. The games aren't subtle about it at all, but they're really funny. They also, Infinite Wealth also has an Animal Crossing, right? You can basically make your island, do all the Animal Crossing stuff in it. They're really fun games. So, seeing that, the new one is coming out, just to hear I think the demo released today, actually. So if you want to check out the demo for Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, I think it released today, February 14th. But honestly, we don't get that many good pirate games anymore. Back in the day, we had Assassin's Creed 3 and 4, which were great pirate games. And then, Ubisoft was working on Skull and Bones, and that game took a decade, and it sucked. Getting a good pirate game from the Yakuza people of all people, or I guess the Like a Dragon people, that's great. I'm excited for that. Will I actually play this at launch? Probably not, but I think it's cool nonetheless. They're also doing a crossover with Dave the Diver, which Dave the Diver... Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves is okay. I never got into Sea of Thieves as much as I wanted to. I wanted to like Sea of Thieves more than I did. It was okay. I don't know, nothing beats Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 4 was just so good. But no, this Yakuza pirate game, I'm hoping it's great, because the Yakuza games are just really good. And a Dave the Diver crossover sounds amazing. I mean, you can already play Balatro in Dave the Diver. If you downloaded the DLC, which is no longer available, you can fight Godzilla, and now you can do Yakuza stuff. Man, Dave the Diver is so good. I really need to play more of it. They showed off Borderlands 4. Guess what? It's another Borderlands. Handsome Jack isn't in it. The writing isn't nearly as charming as it used to be. But you know what? It's one of the few games that, it's a looter shooter that has no microtransactions, no loot boxes, and it kind of puts the game above, I'm not even going to say satisfying gameplay, but it puts gameplay above, making all the money in the world, which is kind of rare these days. So, I gotta give it some credit. Am I going to play it? No. No, I have no interest in Randy Pitchford's Borderlands 4. It got a September 23rd release date. I know some people are going to be happy with that. Specifically people I know who are, that's on a good date for them. Of course, they'd prefer it sooner, but, But But yeah, we got Detective 8020. This is from the developers of Until Dawn, whose names I cannot remember, but they have their Dark Pictures anthology, which is, you know, a series of games that are all horror themed, and they're okay. I know some of them are better than others. And there's Picky Peck number 2. So, yeah, you know, this one, it's a space one. I know was it Housemarque that made the one about the Iraq War that was just fucking awful? Was that Housemarque? Or not Housemarque. Was that the Until Dawn developers, whose names I'm completely forgetting at the moment? I think it was. I think that wasn't the Quarry. It might have been the Quarry, honestly. But it might be good, but it might... I don't know. They're making an Until Dawn movie, and the movie looks awful. Right? It looks worse than this fletchling here. No, because, like, they're making an Until Dawn movie, but they're using none of the characters, none of the gameplay settings. They're literally just making... I think it's a time loop movie, because, you know, the whole joke is that you have to survive Until Dawn. It just doesn't look good. And we know they're making Until Dawn 2. Like, they haven't officially announced it, but it has been pretty heavily hinted at, so... Next up, Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, so spooky. Another children's horror game that hasn't been scary in, like, 8 years because they have to appeal to children. How spooky. Yeah. Oh my god. You know, I used to like these games. I played the original 4 FNAF games. Like, on stream. You know, I recorded them way back in the day. I used to have so much fun with these games. And even into, like... Okay, I didn't like Sister Location, but Pizzeria Simulator was fun. But really, ever since Steel Wool has taken over, they just haven't been it. Now, that's not to say I haven't had fun with them. I said it for a long time. Pizzaplex game. FNAF. Security Breach. Security Breach is the name I'm looking for. Ultimate Custom Nights, whatever. I get the appeal of it. Security Breach, for a long time, was the most fun I had had with a game I had never played. Watching, you know, Dawko, FNAF, Astral Spiff, mostly Astral Spiff, Tetrabit, other channels that I'm sure I'm forgetting now, watching them play through Security Breach, and, you know, do the challenge runs, you know, the Gigamonties, the speedrunning challenges. Can you beat the game blindfolded? Can you beat the game without, you know, looking? Can you beat the game backwards? Those were so much fun. I love some of those videos. The actual game is fucking dog shit. Security Breach is not a good game. But those videos were super entertaining. And I know they did the DLC for Security Breach, and it was whatever. Because clearly they wrote themselves into a corner, because the story of Security Breach was so bad that they literally had to create a new character in the books just to kind of write themselves out of the corner. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So, in the DLC for Security Breach, they introduce a character called the Mimic. And basically, the Mimic only exists to solve all of the plot holes created by Security Breach. Does it actually solve any of those problems? I mean, some of them. Like, you know, it kind of helps with Peepaw and whatnot. but I don't think it actually solves any of the real problems, because the lore doesn't fucking matter. Literally, the only reason the lore exists in FNAF is to get people like me, like FNAF, like Game Theory, like Dawko, talking about these games, so that way you're more likely to buy it. And hey, guess what? It did work, because I did eventually play in Stream Security Breach. So surprise, surprise, fuckers. Shame's on me, I guess. But yeah, we're getting, new FNAF game, Secret of the Mimic. My name is Edwin. I made the Mimic. However else the rest of that stupid shit goes. And yeah, that's a game. Okay. It might be good. It might be. Maybe Steel Wolves got their shit together. FNAF lore is awful. It's entertaining. It's awful. It is super entertaining, but no, it's trash. Especially recently. And God, don't even get me started on the books. Hey, look, there's a third fletchling. So yeah, that's, will I play Secret of the Mimic? No, not a chance in hell. Well, okay, maybe if it reviews really well, I might actually check it out, but I don't think that's going to happen. Will I watch Astral Spiff play Secret of the Mimic? Oh, you better believe I'm going to watch Astral Spiff play it. I'm sure he'll make a great video out of it. But for me personally, nah, I'm good. We got the Midnight Walk. Yeah, just moving on. The Midnight Walk is the new game made by the people who did Lost in Random. They were originally working under EA. I don't know if they still are, but this is their new game. It's done in like a claymation, Tim Burton kind of style. It looks really interesting. I think the animation is very good. And this is kind of like PlayStation's response to, South of Midnight, because also another game with a very good, unique art style. And yeah, I'm kind of interested in both. I think they both have a lot of potential, and I think Midnight Walk comes out May 8th, and I think South of Midnight comes out in like April. So they're like a month apart, if that. We got Darwin Paradox. So the Darwin Paradox is a Konami game. Because, yeah, I guess Konami is making games, or maybe this is an indie game they're publishing. I don't know. For some reason in this trailer, there is Johnny Test. From the hit Cartoon Network Whip Crack sound effect show, Johnny Test. There is a stolen asset of him, or maybe it's an Easter egg. I don't fucking know. But Johnny Test is in this trailer for some reason. So, yeah. But no, actually, it's a game where you're playing as an octopus. It kind of reminds me of Finding Dory, the octopus in that. Right? You're disguising yourself. You're sneaking around a lab facility. And, again, the actual gameplay reminds me of Inside. It's not, of course, as dark and dreary as Inside. But, like, gameplay style, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. And, you're just an octopus doing octopus things, trying to sneak out of this facility. It's weird, but, I don't know. It's one of the few things I am actually like, you know what? If they pull this off, they might have something good here. Dreams of Another. This is Pixel Junk, who I'm assuming is the publisher, and I don't know the developer. But this is a game where, you're in this world where everything is made of, like, little pixels, little dots. And even though everything is made of dots, right? There's that one horror game where you have, like, the scanner, and you can scan the world, and it slowly, like, fills it in, but there's also, like, a monster chasing you that you can scan or something like that. I don't actually know the name of the game. I'm sure Markiplier played it at some point. But this game kind of reminds me of that, but instead of a scanner, you have a gun. and when you shoot the gun, instead of destroying things, it fixes them. So it's basically teardown, but in reverse, which is very weird. Like, it's a very weird indie game, but, like, fuck, man. I don't know, literally anything can be good anymore. If I had to actually compare it to anything, it reminds me of Humanity, which was a game that came out like a year ago on PlayStation. I can't remember if this is VR, PlayStation and PSVR. I really can't remember. Am I weird? I don't, and I've never liked Markiplier. I don't like how he just screams and gets mad all the time. Honestly, for a long time, I kind of felt the same way. That because I don't, like, that was my problem with Dream. Before, all the accusations and everything. I thought Dream made some interesting content, but all he did was scream George. And I just found it kind of annoying. Markiplier, he kind of does the same thing, but he also seems to be a really nice person. And I guess I don't really watch Markiplier that much. But I watched his playthrough of Security Breach, and watching him get beaten into the ground by that game and just lose his will to live was so entertaining. Because, man, fuck Security Breach, especially at launch. Oh my gosh. But no, Security Breach is what made me get Markiplier. Because, like, I had seen some of his stuff before. I had seen his original FNAF Let's Plays. And yeah, he can be kind of funny. Yeah, sure. Does he do the screaming thing a lot? Sure. But I think he is also entertaining. He's interesting. He's not someone I go out of my way to watch, but... I have absolutely no ill will against the guy. And yeah, I kind of like, and it's one of those things where it's like the older I get, sometimes as I grow older, I kind of feel like he's growing older as well, in like the way that his content is evolving. Because there are some YouTubers who they try to do the exact same thing they were doing 10 years ago, and that kind of sucks. I want YouTubers to grow and evolve with me. And Markiplier, I feel like, is one of the ones doing that. Whereas, like, there are some who have not changed. And will never change. Pretty sure the Dream accusations were false. I don't know about... I don't want to speak on that one, but I've heard some pretty heinous shit. And even if, like, all, like, the A minor accusations are false, which, again, I don't know. I don't want to speak on that. I've seen some video recordings of him that are also pretty fucked up. So I don't think he should, just because those ones aren't real, doesn't mean he should get out of the other ones either. In the same way, we probably shouldn't have forgiven PewDiePie for saying the N-word. Because we really shouldn't have. And I still haven't. Because I don't watch PewDiePie at all. And I never will. The only video of his I ever saw was that car vlog. And that car vlog was good, but no, PewDiePie, fuck him. He apologized, I acknowledge his apology, and I don't forgive him. I just don't like honestly, I don't like PewDiePie for the same reason you don't like Markiplier. And of course, I'm kind of, what? He's, as far as I know, he's mostly retired. He's with his family. I'm fine with him just kind of fading away. So we only got 2 games left. Or I guess 3 games, actually. So we got we got Days Gone. So Days Gone was a PS4 zombie game that I heard was okay. Admittedly, I didn't hear amazing things about it, but I heard it was fine. And it's getting a remaster on PlayStation, It's if you already own the game, it's a $10 upgrade. I'm sure they're already doing some fuckery to take it off of the store and whatnot. It's reaction videos now or something, just simple videos to make money. Yeah, I guess. But no, Days Gone, I never played Days Gone, but I heard it was okay. I'm sure it's still okay. But I'm not interested in playing it. So yeah. The Blueprints. So the Blueprints is... Remember, if you played Link's Awakening remake on Switch, they had a dungeon maker in that game. Where you could make your own little dungeons, you could select the rooms, select the bosses, and then you had to fight through it. Blueprints is basically a escape room version of that. It's a puzzle game where you're designing these escape room sequences, and then you have to work your way out through them. And that kind of seems interesting. It's one of PlayStation's indie games, and yeah, I think there's potential there for like an escape. You're not like making the puzzles in the escape rooms, but you know, you're arranging the room order, determining stuff like that, at least as far as I can tell. And I think there's potential there. Again, it worked fine in Zelda. I think it can work fine here. And then the final thing I want to talk about is the PlayStation Classics collections and the PlayStation's Executive Plus Premium things. Specifically, Patapon 3 is being added to the PlayStation Classics collection. I do not know if that means that you can also just buy Patapon 3, or if you need that PlayStation Classics collection. Admittedly, it wasn't exactly clear based on how they explained it. But, you know, Patapon 1 and 2 are on PS5, PS4. So this new Patapon, or Patapon 3 also being ported, that makes sense. I understand that. That's okay. I don't know. I always hear Greg Miller talk about how good Patapon is. And it's one of those things that I should eventually play. I mean, it's in Astro Bot. I've heard... Again, Greg Miller talks up those games all the time. So if this is what gets me into Patapon, then this is what gets me into Patapon. And then the other thing they talked about was in the collection was Bloomin' Rage. Lost Records Bloomin' Rage. This is the developers behind the original Life is Strange. This is their new episodic game about like a bunch of young girls starting their own rock band. You know, very Jim and the Hologram style. And you know, in the process, something bad's gonna happen. Potentially something supernatural. And, you know, throughout the episodes, we'll probably see the kids, you know, grow up and whatnot. I don't know. I liked the original Life is Strange. And I know they did some other shit, and don't even get me started on Double Exposure. But, you know, Life is Strange has potential. I want this to be good. Is it actually going to be good? Only time will tell. But I want it to be good. That's the thing. And yeah, that's the state of play. Has my going over everything again directly after watching it, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Has my score changed? I actually don't think so, because like it's getting the 5 out of 10 for games like Sorrows, for the 5 FNAF game that even if it's not going to be good, I'm still going to enjoy. The Sonic game. You know, Like a Dragon. A lot of these games we already knew about. But for the stuff that is here, I'm like, okay, there's some stuff here that I am interested in. And the one big surprise, you know, that's got a lot of potential. Is there a lot of stuff I expected to be here that I'm kind of surprised wasn't here? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we didn't see anything about Elden Ring. Especially because I'm pretty sure Elden Ring Night Reign has its beta this weekend. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get anything on that here. Because that would have, you know... And I know we got the release date and everything on that game. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that. I didn't expect Wolverine. I didn't expect... whatever Sony Santa Monica's next thing is. You know, there were certain things that I knew wasn't going to be here, but I guess I just wanted one other thing. The one thing I'm surprised wasn't here, which takes us into our next story, I guess. Astro Bot. There was a part of me that kind of hoped we were going to get paid Astro Bot DLC. I would gladly give Team Asobi my money to get some Astro Bot DLC. Because Astro Bot was very good, and I'd love to have some more of it. Even if it's like the Ultimate Difficulty Challenge Pack, oh, you better believe I'd give them some money for that. But yeah, Astro Bot didn't show up at the State of Play, and then 24 hours later, the developers of Astro Bot announced that they are adding 5 new levels to the game. And they're adding new bots. So yeah, even though, you know, we didn't get DLC at the State of Play, which if they had just taken a single minute to announce it, that would have been like, oh, okay, cool. You know, we got our first new Astro Bot DLC tomorrow. Instead, it just comes from a random press release. That's such a weird oversight. Listen, Game of the Year's, Grammys, Oscars, all the voting shows are rigged. They just vote for famous people for clout or whatever. I only watch the game trailers. I don't even... Honestly, you know, people say that. And, you know, I'm not always going to say, like, the Grammys are rigged. Most of the time, the Grammys get it wrong. But this most recent Grammys was, like, the best Grammys in, like, a decade. Because, you know, most of the people who I wanted to win won. And even, like, Beyonce win. Like, no matter who won at the end, it didn't really matter. Beyonce winning, I'm not too beat up over that. I actually think the Grammys was pretty good. Are the Oscars fucked? Oh, yes, absolutely. I think the Oscars more recently have shifted towards, like, legacy. Like, they want all the winners to be, like, legacy picks. You know, Timothée Chalamet will continue to get snubbed out of stuff. And then, of course, 100%, I'm calling it right now. Emilia Perez is going to win Best Picture. It's Green Book all over again. It's Crash all over again. But at least Green Book had good music. For fuck's sake. I know it's not going to win Best Actress. But other than that, Emilia Perez is going to win Best Picture. I'm calling it right now. That award show's fucked. And speaking of award shows, Astro Bot actually won another award. The DICE Awards were the other day. And Astro Bot won Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. And now the DICE Awards are, you know, more... Instead of it being like game reviewers and critics and whatnot, it's developers. It's the people who work on games voting on the best games that, you know, they've played from, you know, themselves and other developers and the like. More on, like, the technical side of things. And they also chose Astro Bot. So, yeah. And then with Astro Bot winning and everything, Sony did make a statement at one point this week, being like, hey, in the future, we want to make more family-oriented games like Astro Bot. And while, of course, I don't want Sony to turn into Nintendo, honestly, if we get a new Astro Bot game every few years, or a new game like Astro Bot, I'm not going to complain. As long as they don't turn it into a live service game, I am happy to get a new Astro Bot-like game every few years. If they want to make Astro Bot Kart Racer, that sounds fantastic to me. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, no, just new Astro Bot levels. Just kind of randomly dropped. No, they didn't show them in a direct or anything. Admittedly, I have not played them. But, you know, I think they're more speedrunning levels, if I'm being honest. That's kind of what it looked like. But no, I loved Astro Bot. It was my game of the year. Of course, I'm always excited for more. And then our final news story of the day. Right in around an hour. We have a new patent from Nintendo. So a few weeks ago, we talked about the Joy-Con patents, where, you know, you can use them as a mouse, you can do other things with them, you know, amiibos are back. Well, Nintendo filed another patent that how these new Joy-Cons connect. is, they magnetically lock into the sides of the controller. And then there's like a little charging port that, it's a male adapter on the system going into a female adapter in the controller. And, people are all worried about like, oh my God, it's going to break. This is such a failure point, blah, blah, blah. And like, I get it. But there's clearly some evidence that Nintendo is thinking ahead here, because the male adapter works both ways. You know how like the Switch uses USB-C, so no matter which way you plug it in, it's the correct way, unlike old school USB, right, where if you plug it in the wrong way, it won't go in. And USB-C is amazing, by the way. I love USB-C. I think it is the obvious evolution. Well, the male adapter on the Switch 2 works both ways. So this patent allows you, let's say you plug in the Switch controllers in the wrong sides, they'll still work. In theory, you can use the Switch 2 upside down, and it will function perfectly fine. That's this new patent. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, one of the problems with the original Switch is that because the charging port is at the bottom, it kind of sucks to charge the Switch and play it in handheld mode at the same time. Because, you can't, like, gently rest it on, like, a table or anything because of the charging port. But now, in theory, you could pop off the Joy-Cons, turn the console upside down, plug them back in, and then have the charging port on top. That's a great solution. Of course, Nintendo also made a second solution, which is just adding a charging port to the top of the system as well. I mean, to be fair, two solutions are better than one. I still personally have my theory that Nintendo is going to sell an accessory that allows you that you plug into the top of the Switch, or I guess potentially the bottom, and then you can hook your Switch 1 up to your Switch 2 and use them as a dual screen DS. And that's going to be one of the ways you can play DS Virtual Console games, is by plugging the top into the bottom. Yeah, it's basically like an auto-rotate feature. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because, you're having to turn controllers that plug into the system upside down. But yeah, it's basically that. But no, I fully suspect you're going to be able to plug your Switch 1 into the top of your Switch 2 to play DS games. We know there's that whole shared screen thing on the original Switch that, like, only a few games took advantage of. The only game I can actually think of that used it was Super Mario Party. But I'm sure there's going to be something in there that way you can have dual screen DS games with an actual dual screen instead of, just rotating the Switch 90 degrees like a tablet. But no, I think the Switch 2 being able to work upside down is a very logical feature. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's good oversight on Nintendo's part. Because there are people who have accidentally put their Joy-Cons in upside down. I'd like to think that, because they struggled to put them in upside down, they, the resistance would, make them not, people would notice before they break them. But I guarantee you some kid has put their Switch 1 Joy-Cons in upside down and pressed on them way too hard and broke them. I can guarantee you beyond a reasonable doubt that has happened. Okay, there's Shiny Starly number 2. We still... In theory, that's all the ones we need, but I'm going to try to get one more. I've still got some stuff to talk about, so I think we'll be fine. So I guess that takes us into our next thing, WIBE. So, what have I been enjoying this week? Well, I got 2 food things to talk about. One from Little Caesars and one from Jack in the Box. I've got video games to talk about, specifically Splatoon. I do not have any anime news. I have not finished the Apothecary Diaries. I will eventually. I just haven't yet. But I will. I will eventually. So I want to talk about Splatoon 3 because I've been playing some Splatoon 3. And then of course we got to talk about Marvel. Because guess what? Marvel released a new movie this week, and you better believe I did watch it. Is anime? Yeah, probably. Anime stuff is probably the least. Every once in a while I'll watch through a few shows. But my backlog right now is terrible. I have like a dozen shows I need to watch, and I just haven't gotten around to any of it. And admittedly, the Apothecary Diaries has just kind of fallen towards the bottom, which is kind of crazy because it's one of the better ones. The Apothecary Diaries has been really good. But I just haven't watched it. So yeah. But I'll get around to it. But I gotta finish Moon Girl first. But I'll do that next week. So yeah, I want to talk about The Incredible Hulk, the 2008 Edward Norton movie. I can't remember who the director was. And then, of course, we have the new Captain America. Captain America Brave New World. And we're going to talk about it. I am going to have to get into spoiler talk when we get to that. I will say a lot of the movie has sadly been spoiled by the trailers. So if you're at all interested in Captain America, do not watch the trailers. Do not watch the trailers for that movie. They give away way too much. And honestly, I think the movie is better if you don't know any of it. And then, of course, finally, we got to end off with Marble League. So let's talk Little Caesars first. So I don't know if you watched the Super Bowl the other week, but in the Super Bowl there was this commercial where I can't remember the actor's name, but his eyebrows fly off, and then Pringles later on had a commercial where mustaches fly off. The conspiracy theory right now. So listen up. The conspiracy theory is that both these commercials were written by AI. That, Little Caesars and Pringles basically told an AI, write a commercial. And they basically just created they told ChatGPT to do it. And it basically just spit out the same commercial. Except one was with eyebrows, the other was with mustaches. That's kind of the conspiracy theory right now. And I'll be honest, I don't know it's 100% true. I can totally think it's true. Same thing with the tongue one. Yeah, if you told me the tongue one was written by an AI, I could totally believe that. Like, yes, do I think people have blown the tongue one way out of proportion? Yes, that is far from the worst trailer I've ever seen. But I totally think that part of the reason Super Bowl commercials kind of sucked this year, I mean, they've been sucking for a long time now. Yay, capitalism. But they've gotten a little weirder and a little worse this year is because these companies are using AI to write them. But okay, back to the thing. Little Caesars, they had, their thing was the new bacon and cheese Crazy Puffs. I love the tongue and the seal one. Not because they're good, but because they're actually so stupid. I can kind of see that. I think the seal one is just dumb. Him singing his Batman song. I do love the song. That's a whole other thing, though. Oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day today. It's the day of love. I haven't even mentioned that. I didn't even mention it was Valentine's Day. But yeah, Seal's Kissed by a Rose, I consider to be one of the most romantic songs ever. Not because it came from a Batman movie. I just think it's really romantic. What can I say? Yeah, the day of love. Mom. Oh, do I have I don't have a good facial reaction for this. My love is my 5-foot Gardevoir plush that I bought for $500 at the Pokemon store. We ate ramen together. We watched some TV together. The perfect Valentine's Day. I'm joking, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. Why spend it? Yeah, why spend it doing something else when I could be shiny hunting? The Pokemon will love me. They don't have a choice. I'm playing around. Don't be an incel. That's all I'll say. I've been where you are. Don't fall down the alt-right pipeline. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Okay, where was I again? Oh yeah, so Little Caesars is doing Crazy Puffs. They've done Crazy Puffs before, right? They're these little, basically like cup-shaped, they take some pizza dough, put it in a muffin tin, fill it with pepperonis and cheese, and they call them Crazy Puffs. I know you're joking. I'm not. Don't fall down the alt-right pipeline. Trust me. It tempts many, and only the strongest of will can survive. Don't. Not even once. Not even once! Okay. Little Caesars Crazy Puffs, I think, are actually pretty decent. They're not the greatest thing in the world. They're not anything amazing. The less you know, the better. The less you know about the alt-right. I would say the less you know, the better. But honestly, you need to know a little just to, avoid it. People who hate women. That's what I'll say. Not having a girlfriend is fine. Hating women is a problem. Who hate women just because they are women. That's what I mean when I'm saying don't fall down the pipeline. At least at the start. It gets much worse than that later. But that's how it starts. Just fucking God, we live in a hellhole country. I like the Crazy Puffs. I do. I don't know, because people on the internet are weird. And they'll try to trick you. They'll try to trick you with their Crazy Puffs and their hatred of Marvel movies, specifically women in them. And they will trick you, and before you've known it, you're playing Chutes and Ladders. And then the next thing you know, you're storming the Capitol. I know that sounds crazy, but literally that's how it happens. Fuck. It's a night, man. It's been a night. I'm just trying to talk about cheesy poofs, and now I'm explaining the alt-right pipeline. Fuck. Okay. I like the cheese poofs. They're good. I like the cheese ones better than the pepperoni ones. I liked them. And then, so when trying the bacon ones, I was like, okay, you know what? Let's give it a try. They're bacon and cheese. Maybe they'll be good. I don't know what it is about restaurant bacon recently. But whenever I have restaurant bacon, it just tastes like a breakfast burrito. I know some people really like breakfast burritos, but for some reason, I just associate bacon with breakfast. And so when I have this bacon cheese crazy poof, it just tastes like a breakfast poof. Which I'm sure a breakfast puff would actually go pretty hard for if you're into that sort of thing. But I think it's, again, I liked it more than the pepperoni one. And they're okay. Honestly, would I recommend going out to get one right now? Maybe not. But I think you can get 4 of them in a Pepsi for $6. And honestly, for a lunch deal, that's not half bad. And the puffs are 1,000 calories. So that's basically a full day's meal. Plus, a Pepsi. For, just for $6? That's not bad at all. In this economy, yeah, the next thing I'm about to talk about, Jack in the Box, is basically double that price. So that's not bad. But no, I liked them. I think the Crazy Puffs are fine. The ones I had this time were pretty, they were fully cooked and everything. They were kind of soft. They were cheesy. The bacon, it's mostly crumbled on top. And yeah, it definitely reminds me of breakfast, but it's not bad at all. I've definitely had far worse things. God, I went on a real side tangent there. So the other food thing I tried was Jack in the Box. Now, when I think of Jack in the Box personally, I think of cheap, affordable food. It's not exactly, kind of like Little Caesar. It's basically the Little Caesars of burger places. It's not exactly high quality, but it's cheap, it's affordable, and it's good after, you get a little, you've had a good night, and now you just want to eat like 20 tacos and kind of crash. Jack in the Box has its place. And so, I see the new Jack in the Box. It's called the Big Smash Jack. Basically, Jack in the Box made their version of the Big Mac. They took their smash burger and basically bun, smash burger, all the accoutrements in a smash burger sauce, another bun, another burger, all the accoutrements, a sauce, and then another bun. It's a Big Mac. If you look up a picture of it, it's kind of gonna look like a Big Mac. But remember how I was like, Jack in the Box is like cheap. It's affordable. I got a combo. So I got a burger, fries, and then I tried out their new, they have like a twisted mint soda. I think it's like a Sprite or something. Which admittedly, I know I paid like an extra like $1 or $2 for the soda. I get that. I still think I paid like $16 for all of that. Jack in the Box, back in the day, you could get a decent sized burger, both, curly and straight fries, 2 tacos, and a soda for $6. And this meal is over double that. And like, don't get me wrong, it was filling. Because they also have loaded waffle fries. And so I took the fries that came with the combo, dumped them in a bowl, and then dumped the loaded waffle fries on top and kind of mixed them up. So that way I had like a giant bowl of cheese fries. And that was good. That was also very good. But God, for like $16, fuck, man. That Jack in the Box is just getting more and more expensive. Has their quality gone up? I mean, a little bit. The Smash Jack Burger, while expensive, is definitely at least a little higher quality. But man, they are so fucking expensive. I really don't think of them as worth it anymore. Like Little Caesars is, they're not the highest quality either. But they're pretty, they're pretty affordable. This ain't it. Now, the fries were good. I love Jack in the Box's loaded fries. They're covered in bacon, cheese, ranch. They honestly make some pretty good loaded fries. Admittedly, because the waffle fries are so big, you don't get that many of them. But that's kind of always been the problem with their loaded fries. Is like, yeah, they put toppings on them, but I feel like they never give you enough fries, and But yeah, it was, and the twisted soda was also fine. Again, I think it was a Pepsi. I think it was like a Sprite that had whipped cream on top. It had some sort of like, it was green. It was like a bright like nuclear green, and yeah, it tasted fine. I mean, I guess it kind of tasted like mint, but not real. Like, it's not like a Shamrock Shake level of mint. They also do have an Oreo Shamrock Shake if that's what you want. But yeah, it's Jack in the Box. I know what to expect from them, but yeah, God, they're just getting expensive. So that's the food stuff I have. I don't think I have anything else this week. I know there are other things, but I can't think of them. Or, other stuff, because, it's, around Valentine's Day, usually a lot of these companies reveal new stuff around now. Like, I know McDonald's, we tried the barbecue bacon quarter pounder last week. It was whatever. This Smash Jack Burger, I think a Big Mac is like $6. This big Smash Jack is almost double the price of a Big Mac. That's fucking crazy. Especially coming from Jack in the Box. Yeah, so that's all the food stuff I had. So what about videos game? Well, the one videos game I played was Splatoon. I booted... So, the Splatoon 3 DLC Side Order, its 1 year anniversary is, I think this, like, basically a week from today, maybe a week from Saturday. It's right around the corner. So with that, I was kind of like, you know what? I want to play Side Order again. So I know last week I had mentioned I had done a run. Since then, I've done a few more runs. Mostly, I've been trying to collect the chipsets. If you don't know, right, if you get the chipsets in that game, you can eventually get badges if you max out the levels on the chipsets. And in my experience, one of the rarest chips in the game is the Heavy Splatling Increased Fire Rate one. It's a red... I think it's increased fire rate. It's a red Heavy Splatling chip. And I've always struggled to get it. And all you have to do is get it to level 5. I did multiple runs where I just never saw it. I never saw the chip. It was super rare. Eventually, I did find it. I finally got... Because it was one of the only chips I was missing. It might have been the only chip I was missing. I got it. I added it to my collection. And then after that, I was like, okay, well now I have to get it 5 times. The next run I did, I got it 4 times. And the only reason I didn't get... Because I found it in a vending machine, but I ran out of money. If I had like an extra $200, I would have had enough to buy the chip a second time and get it fully upgraded. But instead, I now have to do like a 5th run of the Heavy Splatling. I'm so sick of the weapon. It's the Heavy Splatling's already not one of my favorites, but I'm so sick of the weapon. But other than that, you know, Side Order is still really good. I'm having fun playing it again. It makes me when I made Splatoon 3 my game of the year back in 2023. I think it was 2023. At the time, I was like, you know, I hope in a year I don't regret this. I hope I don't regret making Splatoon 3 my game of the year. Now, you know, 2 years later, playing Side Order again, at least some of those first few runs, I was having so much fun that I thought back to that and was like, you know what? I don't regret this. This is a good game. I'm glad I made this my game of the year. So I've been doing that and I've been having a lot of fun. Alright, we got one shiny set to go. We gotta go find Pikipeks now. The other thing I've been doing is I've been playing the DLC... I did the Splatfest. Last week we played a little bit of the Splatfest, you know, check it out. I got to max rank in the Splatfest. I did get my, I'm now over 300 salty sea snails. But because I'd been playing Side Order, I did a run with the bow, and I was like, oh yeah, man, I remember actually liking the bow in Side Order. So I went online. I took the bow, I went online. I should be honest, I suck at snipers. I am not a good sniper in Splatoon. So there was a part of me that's like, oh my god, taking the bow online, this might be a mistake. But I looked up some videos on how to play the bow, you know, how to use it offensively, how to use it as an inking weapon, that, you know, it's more valuable at the first charge than it is the second charge. And you know what? I had a lot of fun. I won another, you know, 100x battle. I had a great time with the bow. I did also get disconnected, which sucked. Did I talk about this last... I don't think I could have. I got disconnected, and for the first time in my 2+ years of playing Splatoon 3, I got timed out. Where I had to, you know, wait the 10 minutes before it would disconnect me, because the game lagged out on me while doing a 100x battle. And that sucked to lose. So, yeah. But no, I was playing with the bow. I really like the bow. Is it my new main or anything? No, not at all. I'm not that good. You know, I have gotten a few snipes. I've gotten a few clips here and there. But I'm not actually that good at the bow. But man, I had a good time playing with the bow. I totally get the appeal of the weapon in a way that I don't like, because that's the other thing with Side Order. Side Order made me like weapons that I don't normally like. And while it wasn't enough to get me to like Sniper, actually Salmon Run did more to get me to like the Squiffer. It made me like the bow in the brush, the Splatana Stamper. And guess what? I like both of those weapons now. Because I did do a few runs of Splatana Stamper. It went okay. You know, it's still a decent weapon. But I genuinely really did enjoy my time with the bow. So I know at least a little bit of how to play that weapon. I'm no expert or anything. My aim is still awful. But I kind of get it now. I get that weapon. I'm glad I have it. So yeah, that's kind of the one video game I played this week. And I just put a lot of time into that. There was one other thing I was thinking about talking about. Let's just worry about that next week. So, movies. So, I sat down and watched The Incredible Hulk. 2008 movie. This is the second movie in the MCU. Before Mark Ruffalo became the Hulk, right? It was originally Edward Norton. And I had not seen... The last time I saw this movie was in, 2018, maybe 2017. Right before Infinity War came out. Right before Infinity War came out, I watched every Marvel movie. I ranked them all, I watched them all, and that was the one time I watched The Incredible Hulk. So I haven't seen it since then. But leading up to this new Captain America, I was told by people in the know that, like, hey, you should probably watch Hulk again before you go watch this new Captain America. And honestly, I'm gonna give the same advice. If you have never seen 2008's Incredible Hulk, it is not a good movie. I'm not gonna say it's the worst MCU movie. I'd probably say Thor 2 is worse. But it's like the second or third worst MCU movie. It's not exactly great, but it is the shortest. And the new Captain America is, for all intents and purposes, basically a sequel to the new Hulk movie, or to the 2008 Hulk movie. So if you have not seen the 2008 Hulk movie, I would recommend watching it before seeing the new Captain America. It is not a required viewing. You can technically watch this entire the new Captain America, having not seen the Hulk. And in theory, you'll walk away fine. But if you know the context of 2008's Hulk, I think you will enjoy the new Captain America more. The other required viewings are Eternals, which as long as you know what happens in that movie, you'll be fine. And then same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That one, they at least explain some of the things. Right, like, oh, when did this happen? Oh, this happened in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, I think you can get away without seeing either of those things, as long as you don't have to rewatch them, is what I'm saying. If you watch them originally, I'd recommend you rewatch Hulk. You don't have to, but I'd recommend it. So my actual thoughts on rewatching 2008's Incredible Hulk, yeah, I still don't think it's great. It's got some weird moments. I completely forgot, I think his name is Ty Burrell, the dad from Modern Family. I completely forgot the dad from Modern Family is in this movie. But it's not great. It takes, a lot of people criticize modern MCU humor, right? That, oh, they all feel the same, they all kind of tell the same jokes. 2008's Incredible Hulk is definitely before that, and the movie takes itself very seriously most of the time, and it just doesn't work. It's just not an enjoyable movie. Edward Norton is not a great Bruce Banner. Like, Mark Ruffalo does a fantastic job at the character. And it's interesting reading up on the 2008 movie, that they originally wanted Mark Ruffalo in the movie, but someone at the studio said no, so instead they got Edward Norton. That's interesting. But, you know, there's a lot of things in that movie that, yeah, I see, the thing is, I don't want to spoil Captain America, but there are things set up in that movie that, yeah, you do need to see. Not really the Abomination stuff. I'll be honest, all the Abomination stuff was kind of handled in She-Hulk, so that stuff's not really important, but there are other things, specifically, because we know, right, Thunderbolt, if you've seen the trailers, you know Thunderbolt Ross is the president. And because, you know, Thunderbolt Ross is the president, him being introduced in The Incredible Hulk, not that that was the only movie he's been in. He's been in like half a dozen other MCU movies. He's in Civil War. And we'll talk about that when we get to this new one. But no, he's been in a bunch of other MCU movies. But, you know, he gets started in Hulk. And I feel like Hulk is kind of... Again, this movie is basically a sequel to 2008's Hulk. So knowing his character development in that movie really... Like, it gives you a deeper understanding of his character. Especially if you haven't seen it in, you know, the 17 years since it released. But yeah, the 2008 Incredible Hulk is one of those movies you watch it once and then you never think about it again. And that's right now, I would honestly say, is the perfect time to watch it once and then never think about it again. Because really, unless you're doing like a rewatch like of the entire MCU, there is never a reason to watch The Incredible Hulk. And even then, I think I've only watched it that one time, because I did not watch it in theaters. I watched the original Iron Man in theaters. I did not watch The Incredible Hulk in theaters. They came out like only a month apart, which is kind of crazy in hindsight. But no, the first time I saw it was, I think, 2017, 2016. And yeah, I've just never watched it since. This is the one time... I think when I originally watched it, because I did that watch along, because I was still living at home at the time with my parents. And so I watched all the movies with my mother. She has no recollection of seeing the original Incredible Hulk. Because when I went and saw Brave New World, I took her with me. I took both my parents with me. And as homework, I told them to rewatch The Incredible Hulk. Because, again, they don't remember seeing it. But I know back in 2017 they did. But it's such a mid-forgettable movie that they have no recollection of watching the 2008 Hulk movie. They remember Ang Lee's 2003 Hulk movie more than they remember the 2008 one, which is crazy to think about. But that leaves us to Captain America Brave New World. Hey, look at that! We found a shiny Pick-a-Peck. So like I was saying, Captain America Brave New World, it is the fourth Captain America movie. But it is not a sequel to the previous three Captain America movies. It is instead a sequel to The Incredible Hulk from 2008. All of the supporting cast, with the exception of, Joaquin Torres, General Thunderbolt Ross, he was, the main antagonist, one of the main antagonists in the 2008 Hulk. Some of the other characters in this movie, also in the 2008 Hulk. Admittedly, some of the supporting cast is from, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Joaquin Torres was introduced there. Isaiah Bradley was introduced there. So, some of it's there. But this is a sequel to a Hulk movie. You know how Quantumania was a Fantastic Four movie, but instead of using Fantastic Four characters, they used Ant-Man characters? This is a Hulk movie, but instead of using Hulk, they used Captain America. Why did they do this? What led them to make this decision? I have no fucking idea. But that's the decision they made. So, if you look right now on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is currently sitting at a 51%. Around 51. It might be a little higher or a little lower. What that means is that if you sit down and watch this movie, there is a 51% chance you will like this. Do I agree with that score? I guess. I could see that realistically, that, you know, after the development hell this movie was in, it's been rewritten, like, multiple times. I think it has, like, 5 different writers. It was in reshoots up until, I think, December of last year. This movie has gone through hell and high water. I think there's a 50% chance you like this movie. But for me personally, I actually kind of liked it. I went in expecting nothing. I expected a bad movie. Some of, you know, the people I know who had seen it early, they didn't exactly like this movie. So I was not expecting anything great. I was expecting Quantumania 2. I was expecting Love and Thunder 2. I was expecting something awful. And to my pleasant surprise, no, this is actually a pretty decent MCU movie. Is it one of their greatest? Is it in my top 10? No, not at all. But is it in my bottom 10? Also, no. It sits somewhere comfortably in the middle. It's got its problems. Oh my gosh, yes. The fact that this movie had to be reshot over and over again. Oh my god, there are so many scenes where it is so obvious. Like, oh, these two characters aren't in the same room. Oh, you know, some of these shots, you know, are real life live action. And other shots are clearly on a green screen. But even with all that, I think I was expecting something awful. And I'm really curious to know about the development of this movie. What happened behind the scenes? What was the original script for this movie like? That's a story I'd love to hear. But for me personally, I actually liked it. And it's one of those things where the more I think about it, the more I actually like it a little bit more. I actually think this movie, because there are some movies where, you know, you walk out of it and then you start thinking about it and, you know, it gets a little better, maybe it gets a little worse. This movie actually gets a little bit better the more I think about it. So what do I think works? Well, I kind of got to get into spoilers. So before I get into spoilers, would I recommend this movie? Actually, kind of, yes. Like, you know, is this going to convince anyone who wasn't an MCU fan to be an MCU fan? Especially now in Phase 4. God, no. Is this going to make people who hate the MCU post-Endgame like the MCU post-Endgame? No, I don't think this is going to turn people around. Because I kind of, there's part of me that kind of feels the same way about the Marvels. Because I liked the Marvels, and I think I like the Marvels more than this. But I think the MCU is being held to such a high standard that for certain fans, it is impossible to live up to now. You know, they had their Endgame moment, and once you reach the peak, the only way to go is down. So even though they're putting out decent movies, it's just impossible to appease some fans. And that's kind of what it feels like where we're at. There's also part of me that's like, there's some metaphor for, like, race here. Because in Anthony Mackie, in these movies and whatnot, talks about how, you know, being the Black Captain America, that comes with different expectations. People will always hold you to a higher standard. Not because you're Captain America, but because you're black. And that's kind of how I feel about all these movies. Because since Endgame, the MCU has gotten more diverse. I know people will say, oh, it's gotten more woke. They're doing all these DEI hires. And, like, fuck that shit. Man, fuck those fucking Nazis. But, in the same respect, now that things have changed, people are holding the MCU to a higher standard. And it's just kind of unfair. Because these movies are decent. I don't know, they somehow managed to pull a decent movie out of this. If I had to give it a score, I'd say, like, I don't know if I want to give it an 8. Let's say 7.5 and call it there. It's somewhere between an 8 and a 7. the more I think about it, the more I like it. So I could see it getting up to an 8, but I like the character. Like, I like Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. I like the guy who plays Joaquin Torres. I like Harrison Ford. I think he chews it up, but I think he does a good job. Some of the other characters I do like. And I don't want to get into spoilers. For people who are boycotting the movie because of Sabra is still in the movie. She kind of doesn't do much, and that's something I'd be curious about. I'm going to try to get one more pick and peck, since we still got time. I'm curious what else Sabra did in the original versions, but in the current version, she's there. There's a single line that mentions she was born in Israel, but outside of that, she spends the entire movie working for the president. They don't mention Israel outside of that one line. I honestly, while she didn't really contribute much to the movie, I feel like they removed as much of her character as possible, and I didn't hate her performance. I think it was fine, whatever. I get why people are boycotting it because of that, and if you are, I don't blame you. But no, I think it was fine. I enjoyed it. Yes, it's got problems, but I had a good time. The last thing I'll leave off before we get into spoilers. As crazy as this sounds, I could see myself watching this movie again. There are some MCU movies, like even some of the good ones, where I'm like, I don't really need to watch this again. I'm good. I've seen my one showing. I can walk away. I'm good. This one, as weird as it sounds, I could see myself watching again. Even if it's just for some of the fight scenes, the two fight scenes near the end. Yeah, I could see myself rewatching this. But yeah, I recommend watch The Incredible Hulk. Don't watch I'm sure you've already seen the trailers. If you have not, do not watch the trailers. I honestly think the trailers give away too much. But with that, let's real quick talk about spoilers. So full spoilers ahead, just be aware. One of the things about this movie, you know how in Infinity War, Captain America and Steve Rogers, they're the main characters of Infinity War. They are not the protagonists. Thanos is the protagonist of Infinity War. Everything in that movie revolves around him. All of the characters' actions are based around him. He's the one that goes on the hero's journey. Thanos is the protagonist. In the same way Infinity War did that, this movie kind of works the same way, but with General Ross. Ross is the protagonist of this movie. He is not the main character. Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, Captain America, he is the main character. But everything in this movie happens because of him. Ross is the protagonist. The villain, the leader, spoiler alert, even though they never call him that, he just wants to stop him. That's his goal. He just wants to stop Ross. He turns Ross into the Red Hulk just to get revenge. Ross, meanwhile, he is a man who wants to change. That's his greatest desire. He wants to change, be a better person. And because of that, because, the leader doesn't believe he can, his daughter doesn't believe he can, he struggles. But at the end, he chooses to change. And as a result, he gets his daughter back. He makes the sacrifice. He is the protagonist of this movie. That's my big take. And I actually really like that. Same thing with, the leader as an antagonist. One of the things I like about Zemo in Civil War, Zemo's goals are very personal. The Avengers killed his family. He wants revenge. He knows he can't kill them, but he can turn them against each other. That's the leader here. He just wants revenge against Ross, and he's going to do whatever he can to get that revenge. It's entirely personal. Sure, might he start World War III in the background? Yeah, but that's inconsequential. All he wants is revenge on Ross. He doesn't want to kill Ross. He wants Ross to become the Red Hulk, become the monster he hates so much, and destroy his reputation. I think that all works really well. The leader, I think the guy who plays him, I think Stearns is the character's name. I think the guy who does, plays the leader, I think he does a good job. The character design's kind of weird, nothing like how I know him in the comics. But I think he does a good job, the actor's good. And yeah, I think his motivation is good. One of the problems I do have is, so the leader's motivation is that Ross locked him away in prison for 15 years. And he wants revenge because of that. So as a result, as part of his plan, he throws Isaiah Bradley back in jail. Right? Isaiah Bradley spent 30 years in jail after the Korean War. So there's an obvious, character connection there. Of, oh, well, you got out of jail after 15 years just to throw Isaiah back in. There's that connection there, and the movie just doesn't do anything with it. And I kind of felt like that was underwhelming. There's a lot of ideas here that are just kind of missed potential, if you know what I'm saying. And I think the fight scenes are fine. I know I've heard people have problems with the opening hand-to-hand fight scene because, Sam Wilson's taken on guys twice the size. I think they're all fine. I love, there's a whole flying scene where they're trying to, kick off missiles and whatnot. I think that scene's really good. I love how he uses the shield. They have evolved since Falcon and the Winter Soldier. How Sam uses the shield and wings together, really good. The final fight scene against the Red Hulk, really fucking good. I would watch the movie again just for that one final fight scene. The Red Hulk is only at the end of the movie, which is why I say don't watch the trailers. Because it's actually, the movie does this really, slow, cold build towards the Red Hulk. They slowly build it up over the course of the movie. And so if you don't know the Red Hulk is coming, it's a big reveal. And I think they do it really well. But because it was spoiled in all the trailers, it doesn't get the same impact. In a lot of parts, this movie is just trying to be Civil War again. It's trying to be Winter Soldier. There's Giancarlo Esposito's in this movie. He adds nothing to the movie outside of a fight scene in a car that is clearly just trying to be the Winter Soldier scene, where Sam, after he tries to kill Nick Fury in the movie, they're clearly just trying to do that scene again. And it's just a worse version of that. But yeah, I think I liked it. I genuinely did enjoy this movie. I guess I would kind of recommend it, As weird as that's gonna sound, yeah, no, I'd recommend it. Go check it out. There might actually be something good here. I don't know, I hope I'm not alone in this. I hope other people are seeing what I'm seeing here. Because the more I think about it, the more I really do like this. And then there's this movie is kind of pointless. The MCU's building up towards its whole multiversal thing. This movie does almost nothing to contribute to that. But I kind of think that's fine. There's this quote I reference all the time about how the inherent problem with superhero movies and comics is that when every battle's a battle for the fate of the world, they kind of lose all their stakes. And that's kind of what I feel here. Right? We're at the point where, when every battle is a battle for the fate of the multiverse. When something's endangering the universe, I don't really care. But in this movie, because it's all so personal, it's just one man wanting revenge on Ross, I actually think it works a lot better. So I think that's real. I know, right, for some people, it's too small scale and they aren't going to like that. But for me, I think it's just the right scale. I think it works perfectly fine. I like the characters. Yeah, they have their moments. They have their bad moments. They're not all amazing actors. But they do work. I like, some of the final scenes in this movie. When Ross gets reunited with Betty. That's really good. When when basically Sam offers Joaquin to join the Avengers. Also a great scene. So there is some stuff that really works here. And yeah, I guess I'd recommend it. So with that, we've done all our Pokemon stuff. I'm sure I'll think of more stuff with Captain America next week. But with that, let me move that. Let me pull up the Marble League. Okay, right here, Funnel Endurance. Oops. All right. Let me turn up the volume real quick because I have it down pretty low. All right, so here we are.
Top 2, it looks like. Shit. Momo.
I keep doing that. Okay, so here we are, Marble League. It's the final 2 events. We have Funnel Endurance, and then we have, I think, Maze Race. Ice Maze, yeah. Final 2 events of All-Stars. Currently, our team's actually doing okay. Like, we haven't won a gold medal, but we're still in, like, the top 8, regardless. We're one of the highest-ranked teams without a medal right now, which is pretty good, all things considered.
It seems almost devious to put.
But we knew the Funnel Endurance was coming. We're usually pretty good at the Funnel Endurance.
Tournament of
so I'm hopeful.
That's why these marbles are out here. They are supposed to
I am hopeful. And yeah, we're at 6th. We are the highest team to have not won a single medal in any event.
With 50 points
of course, the Savage Speeders have a bronze, they have a gold, they have a silver.
Hazers are within 50 points of the lead.
They're kind of walking away with the whole thing right now. But yeah, we're usually, Team Galactic here, we're pretty good at Funnel Endurance. So I'm a little hopeful that things are going to work out.
This is the Marble League All-Stars presented by Mint Mobile. And
yeah, so far, All-Stars has been okay.
The Savage Speeders
outside of, the Savage Speeders walking away with everything, which, to be fair, I guess I kind of expected. Honestly, things have been going well for our team. My only real complaint is that I wish there had been some summer events in here. But other than that, I've been, I guess maybe part of me has been enjoying it because we're doing okay. And I totally just bonked the mic there. I hate obstacles in the funnel. I know I mentioned this last time we saw Funnel Endurance. I fucking hate obstacles in the funnel. They are the worst things ever.
Going around and they move into second place. That nudge off of the placard that.
But yeah, outside of that, because that's what's killing us right now. I mean, we're doing okay. But I do not like the obstacles in the funnels.
Savage Speeders, our championship leaders, are currently in last place. They have a full funnels disadvantage.
Yeah, the Savage Speeders are not doing well. Which, I mean, they're the speed marble. Meanwhile, we're in potentially top 4.
Savage Speeders.
We're just at 4th. But if we keep getting hit like that, we're just going to keep falling. That's what's killing it. If we didn't have to deal with obstacles, we would be doing so much better. But because we keep getting hit, or we keep hitting the things, that's what's tripping us up.
But look at the positions changing.
Yeah, we just dropped. We were doing so good at the. We were doing okay at the start there. But then we just started hitting shit. And now we've just fallen so far.
Staking a claim to stay there.
Is that the Rangers? They look very red.
Still with the lead. Midnight Wisps, they have taken over last place.
What happens if you get stuck on the obstacles?
Team Galactic are going to join them.
That obviously hasn't happened yet, but I think it's possible.
Up the order. They're in third to last right now. It is improving for them slightly. Primary is going to join the Rangers. And now Primary back to the lead.
We're out.
They've been losing positions. They are dropping quickly.
We're out.
And can they stay out of the chaos here and advance? This is going to be very close for them.
We're probably second to last.
3 marbles in the
I think that's us
funnel.
right there.
Savage Speeders are among them. Minty Maniacs are down there too. Wisps finish. Now it's Galactic.
Yeah, there we go, Pulsar.
And there it is.
That sucked. It was the obstacles, man.
The Savage Speeders
if we don't have the obstacles, we do so much better.
Meanwhile, back up top, Primary.
But hey, the Savage Speeders are out as well.
Holding strong in the lead. Hazers looking to get third with their captain Misty in a duel with Tarako, the reserve for the O'Rangers. And yes,
I was going to say, like I said, that O'Ranger looks very red. That one being the reserve.
They will get second place. Yeah. And Team Primary's Rima.
Wow.
Trying to make it to 3.
I mean, the O'Rangers have been doing terrible. This is not their year. Like, this is not our year, but it's definitely not the O'Rangers' year either.
Lots of chaos in this one.
Yeah, shit like that
And it
just
gives you a good
kills
taste of
us.
just how much is on the line with every single move you make. Every collision of one of those obstacles.
Because, yeah, we hit that,
Spinning sign
and that
boards,
just took us from
force the
4th,
collisions with
or,
fellow
yeah,
marbles
4th all the
as
way down
well.
to 7th, or 6th maybe.
Look at that effort. by
That
the Hazers.
sucks.
And it paid off.
I guess it's back to
Top
sad
four
boy
will
hour.
advance. Momo
Sad
does
boy hour
make
actually
it,
been over for a
and
while.
Savage Speeders do not.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, because the Savage Speeders have been doing great so far. So this is like the first event. This is the first event for people to, you know, actually catch up.
And the Speeders, of course, only separated by 1
All right.
point in the standings. This could
Oh,
have
there's no ad.
huge implications in these final
I mean, there'll be an
2
ad.
events.
Okay, actually, this
We
event's
go
still a
to
little
the
longer.
next
I don't know.
heat.
I guess I'm just used to an ad right there.
Taking
Oh,
their time in this
interesting.
upper funnel. And now we start to see how the teams will shake out. 4 captains were in the last heat. In Heat B, only 1, 2 reserves. It's Red Eye, the captain for the Raspberry Racers, but that marble is in danger of being in last place after the 4th funnel. Let's see what they do here after collisions with the obstacle. Yes, up top, it is Yeller, the reserve from Mellow Yellow.
Also, the Raspberry Racers have been doing well.
And they are
A lot
in
of the teams
lead.
that I would expect to have done better have
Raspberry
not been
Racers
doing well.
dropped
The
through. They were holding
Rangers,
on
the
into that
Raspberry
top 3 momentarily.
Racers.
Balls of Chaos.
The
They
only
inherit
one that,
second
you know,
place
I
because of it.
expected to do good that
Good
is doing
recovery
really
for
good
Red
is
Eye.
the Savage Speeders.
And now
Other
further
than
down
that,
below, it looks like
nobody
it's blue
else.
lime for the Limers.
Like the fact that
in
the
a battle
Limers
with the
primary
Pinkies, Pinky Rosa.
and,
Pinky Rosa goes into last place, but is joined down there
What's the other one?
by the Limers.
Maybe is it the Oceanics? I don't know.
Funnel
Whatever
lead in
the I know the
meantime
Limer.
by Yeller.
Oh, Balls of Chaos. The Balls
That
of
is
Chaos
fantastic.
team
It was
primary
almost
and the
a
Limers are
two-funnel
doing
lead.
way better than I thought they would be.
Oh, there you go.
Whereas like
Hard
all
hit
the
by
traditionally
Resi.
like, you know,
They drop
expert
on through.
teams
Farther down.
outside of the Savage
They
Speeders
go
aren't
into the
aren't
lowest
performing as
funnel
well.
so far, along with the Limers. Both of them impacted
I'm
that
amazed at
obstacle,
how far
and both of them
Mellow Yellow's up
fighting
there.
to get away from that event horizon, but they can't do it. 3 funnels to go. Mellow Yellow still cruising up
So I was
top.
kind of thinking,
A full
you know what I think
funnel
would be interesting?
lead.
So
Oceanics,
here we
they
have
are
the
in
All-Stars,
third spot right now
which
with
is the
reserve
top
counts.
16 best teams in the league. You know, all the best teams, the most iconic teams, however you want to put it.
Limers
I
down
kind of
into
hope
the
that
final
after
funnel.
the, you know,
Trying
the
not to
10th
finish
anniversary
in
year
dead last.
with, you know, the O'Rangers, after their
They're
event,
joined by the Pinkies.
I kind
Now,
of
Balls
want them to
Chaos
do
are also
the
down there.
reverse of
Disarray.
All-Stars. Right? If
Limers
All-Stars
finish
is
last.
the best teams, do an event, do
Mellow
an
Yellow
8-round
still
event
holding on.
with the worst
Keeping it
teams.
wide.
You obviously
Now they
don't
come
call
on
it the
through.
worst teams.
Pinkies get 7.
I don't know what
Balls
you
of
call it.
Chaos
And I know
get
that's kind of
6.
what the showdown is in some ways.
Red Eye.
But for people who are like
Avoid
fans of like the
elimination. He's gonna have to
Kobolds,
dig deep and won't
who,
be
you
able
know,
to
they haven't been in a
make it
league
fifth.
in years. And we'll see if things change under their new
Top
coach.
4 advancing out of this heat.
For some people,
The order being
I feel like there are
There
teams
you
that,
go,
you know,
Resi.
just
Fourth
they never
quarter
get any of the
Raspberry Racers.
spotlight. So doing an
Ducks,
event
Billy
that,
in
you know,
third.
is just the lower ranked
Oceanics
teams,
will claim
the
second
Kobolds,
spot.
the Indigo Sliders,
And it was
or
rarely
the Indigo
in doubt.
Stars, the Turtle Sliders,
But Mellow Yellow.
the Rojo
will get
Rollers,
the win in
the
Heat
Bumblebees,
B.
who
They
I
won't
still
make
think
it
should have
to
been
the
in
minute
this,
mark,
but
they don't
whatever.
have to. Remember, as
There
we've
are
seen
some
so many
teams
times
that, you
over the
know,
years,
I would
conserving
love
your
to see
energy
some
and
who
not
don't get
showboating
as much
just to
love
set a
as the
heady time in
O'Rangers,
the
as the
first heat.
Raspberry Racers, as the
That
Savage
makes a big difference
Speeders,
in how you perform
who
in
I
the
totally
final.
think could do their own like events and whatnot.
So Limers, they were the
that
third
I would
place
love to
team
see.
in these overall
So yeah,
standings.
I don't know what you call
They
it,
are
because I don't
out,
think you call it the
raising cat size, fourth in the
All-Star,
overall
right,
standings.
reverse
They are
All-Stars,
out.
low stars. I don't know
Balls of
what you
Chaos.
call it. Underdogs,
And
maybe.
Pinkies joining them in
But I would
relegation.
love to see the lower teams have their own event.
Ordered by
'Cause, you know,
time, the Minty Maniacs,
Because even though, you
the
know,
hosts,
I'm a
go up
Team
to
Galactic
ninth in
fan,
front of the Cats.
if
Limers
they did
finish
do the
in
lower
dead
teams,
last.
I'd root for the
Gills Marble
Bumblebees.
Runs is excited to
Right?
announce the
Most
launch of
people,
our
while they
tour fair.
have their favorite
Start off
team,
with our collector
most people
series
I know
marbles,
have a
which includes
second.
32 of our most popular
right?
marble
A
teams.
second or it's like Smash
You can buy
Bros.
sets
You have your
of full
favorite,
marbles, so you
and then
can
you have a
team
second and a
races
third.
with one of our Skyway
Right?
Chase
I know
marble
people who
run
are like
sets.
that. I
And to track
again,
their
I have a
progress,
second.
you can use
So yeah, I'd
the
root
5
if they did the
competition
lower
racing
ranked
brackets
teams.
we've included.
I'd
So
root for the
come join
Bumblebees,
Yellow's
and I think that
Marble
could be
Runs
fun.
community at
giving some lesser sung teams just a moment to shine. Some big events. I think that'd be nice. And maybe drum up some fans for some of those less talked about teams.
Even with the start of the funnels, that tells you what Disney
Because, you know,
likes.
I don't want everyone to bandwagon O'Rangers or Team Momo now.
The final is set. And down we go. 2 captains and 2 reserves in this
After the
one.
last stream, I looked into the Marble League, and it wasn't very interesting to me.
Marble League All-Stars, sponsored by Mint Mobile.
And, you know, for each their own.
I
I saw a video on TikTok that was people who don't like sports. What do you do? It was like, you know, because you don't want to be one of those sports ball guys, which, to be fair, I was for a while. Luckily, I'm not anymore. But I was definitely in my, like, late teens, early 20s. I was one of those late teens, early 20s. I was a sports ball guy. Luckily, I've moved past that. But, it was a TikTok that was like, people who don't like sports, what do you do? And I just wanted to make a reply of, like, the screen of the filming the Marble League and being like, Team Galactic, win the event, and my life is yours.
Are vying
Team
for last
Galactic,
right now, and it is
I
Toronto who
believe
drops
in
for the
you.
Rangers.
You've got this.
Also joining that
I think that
line
would have been
in
a
that
funny
next
response
funnel. Wow, they are
video.
moving through
Of course,
these
only
very
like 10
quickly.
people would have
We've got
watched
the
it.
Oceanics,
But it was funny in my head.
Team
I didn't do
Primary,
it.
And Mellow Yellow.
You know, I think to each their
In
own.
a
I find it
battle
entertaining.
only briefly for the lead. Momo has lost it.
Right now it's the
Green
Raspberry
Ducks
Racers,
colliding
wow.
with the obstacles they go through quickly. Momo goes through next. That means Hazers are up into second place. Momo in third.
Man,
Raspberry Racers
You know,
are
to
in
each their own.
3-1. Craftiest
What was I saying?
back and forth.
I know I
And
said like
Momo has
Marble
second place once
underdogs.
again.
I also wouldn't mind
Racers still holding the top
because
spot.
I doubt they
Hazers
throw
hard
away
impact on the
marbles.
obstacle they drop
Outside of,
through.
you know,
Momo
potentially the
follows
ones that break, which I doubt they even throw away those. I bet they still have some of the retired teams. Some of the Hablino League stuff. I think doing an event that where it's like, you know, it's just for fun, bringing back some of the retired teams, some of the Hablino League stuff. You know, I think that would be a lot of fun. You know, I know people would love to see the Golden Orbs come back. I'm sure the one Jawbreaker fan would be happy to see the Jawbreakers come back. You know, for one event, for one night only, break up the Hornets and the Bumblebees. Bring back the Quicksilver. It's the Quicksilvers, right? Which is the worst team ever? I want to say it's the Quicksilvers. Are the worst team to ever be in the Marble League. Oh, the Green Ducks. Boo. I think that would be fun for you know, just like an event, like kind of like a showdown, but with some of the retired teams, some of the teams that we haven't seen in a while. And you know, maybe, you know, if like people are really interested in seeing the Golden Orbs again, maybe bring them back. You know, because I know the Solar Flares did, I think they came in like 7th in the league. But I don't know if that many Solar Flare fans. Of course, those who are Solar Flare fans would be disappointed. But same thing with like the Wolf Pack or the Blackjacks, you know. I know there are some teams that aren't very popular. I do think 32 teams is the perfect number because that breaks down 16 and 16 perfectly. And I do think 16 is like the right amount. But yeah, I think it'd be fun to see some of the classic teams come back. Some of the retired, some of the Hablino. Just for like one night only. Bring in the Santa team that showed up once or twice during this year. I don't know, it's just something you know, it's the 10-year anniversary of the Marble League. So I've kind of got all these ideas like, you know, wouldn't it be fun if they did this to appeal to nostalgia? You know, yeah, the Golden Orbs haven't been around for a long time. I know people love them. Same thing, again, I think it's the silver... It's the silver something. Silver... I'm going to look them up. Silver...
And what will this do for the Raspberry Racers? 25 points. This was a team that sat down in 10th. They'd scored just 50. Add on 50% more points just in this one event, and it should put them toward the top of the standings.
I look up Silver Team, and it just shows me Team
does.
Galactic.
Up 7 for the Raspberry Racers. Momo goes up into the lead by 14 over the Savage Speeders. Disastrous result. Only the top 3.
That's bad for us. We just fell down to 10th. We just lost 4 places.
They cannot.
Honestly, I'm surprised the Raspberry Racers have caught up so much. Green Ducks and Orangers being auto-disqualified is bad.
You will not want to miss it.
Alright. We've got one final event.
Celebrating 50 years of music. Live. Featuring.
Alright, real quick before we get into this. I gotta know which team I'm looking up. It's the Silver Somethings. Yeah, the Jawbreakers were a team. The Jawbreakers were a retired team. Quicksilvers. That must have been it. The Quicksilver, and I maybe the other team I was thinking of was the Shining Swarm, which I think are still around. But yeah, no, bring back the Quicksilvers and give them their chance at redemption. One night only, the worst team in the league. See if they can actually do something. Not to, like, permanently bring them back or anything, but just one night of redemption. I would totally watch that. I would totally pay-per-view that. Along with, some of the other teams. You don't understand a word I'm saying. Trust me, okay, to explain, a long time ago, there was a team called the Quicksilvers. They were, think of a silver marble. And they were bad. They lost every event. They came in, some of the lowest places. They were a terrible team. And they did so bad, they're considered the worst team in the league and almost immediately went into retirement. So what if they just bring them out of retirement just for one night? I think that'd be fun. Bring it, and there's a bunch of other teams in retirement as well. That, just one special night, I think that'd be fun. Stick with battle bots.
When the prospect for the Marble League All-Stars was presented to the teams, there was a mix of...
Yeah, see, and I know nothing about battle bots, I'll tell you that.
They knew that the teams would have to live up to the hype.
Fuck
they would
Ice
have to
Maze.
beat the best.
Oh, here we are, the Survival 100 again. No, seriously, I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing. It's the Survival 100 again.
We did agree to
Oh
that
no.
and through
Oh
several
no,
rounds set us up
this might go
for
bad
us
for
to be
us.
A dynamic finish on a devious course. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Welcome
So we
to the
need to
final
do
event of the Marble League All-Stars.
So the
by Mint Mobile, just 3
Love battle bots
teams
as well.
can win
Yeah.
the overall championship.
I've heard
All
some of
those
the
in orange, they can
the
still
Mythbusters
podium, but
guys,
they cannot win
battle
it all.
bot stuff, and that always sounds
T-Mobile
really
leads the
interesting.
way by a healthy
How they were
margin
just
over the
so
Savage
powerful,
Speeders,
but
who are themselves
I've never
9
actually
points
watched it.
clear of the Raspberry
Okay, so we need to do
Racers.
so we cannot win the Marble League,
This particular
but we can at
run,
least get second or
we do
third.
see Team Momo, the
if
other
we
one of
do
those
well enough
front
here.
runners, they're still eligible
It's
marbles. They bump up
anything's
against
possible.
the Bell on the spinner, but get by the crazy chevron and will advance. Oceanics get the win on this one. Rangers also advancing along with Minty Maniacs, but it's Green
there we
Ducks,
go.
Balls of Chaos.
We were
Limers
doing
who were
decent
in
there,
in the overall
and then we got
standings.
hit by the
They
spinner,
were one of those
and that
that
knocked
could
us out.
not win
I also
and
didn't
still
realize
podium.
right there. We got hit right there.
Oh, you can see Team
and that
Galactic
just
finished
killed
in
us.
last, getting that hit
I also
from the
didn't
crazy
realize top 4 teams only move
chevron
on.
spinner.
That sucks.
Astron
That
comes
fucking
through
sucks.
in dead last. All right,
We
so Momo,
really
they're
needed to do
safe.
decent here.
They put their captain in for this one. Raspberry Racers are going with
Shit.
Rizzy. Savage
Well, there we
Speeders
go.
are going with Speedy.
We're
Both
somewheres
of
in the
them
bottom.
need to
I was
advance
hoping
out
to
of
at
the
least
seat
get top half,
to
top
compete
8.
with Momo
You
in
know,
the
if we
next
did
round.
well enough. That's not happening.
So far,
It's just
Pink
not our...
leading the way.
I know last year
Both
wasn't our
Barbarians
year.
road trip, but they're not
This isn't a
showing
good
great
start,
deal
but
of
I
chaos
also
thus
consider
far.
this
They're
part of
Midnight
last year.
Wisps.
I want to
They
be...
just
You know,
miss
kind of
out,
like
and
Pokemon
Raspberry
Generations,
Racers and
where, you know,
Savage Speeders
a
are
Pokemon
both
generation
eliminated.
doesn't end until the next generation of games.
They will
Like,
not
yeah,
move on.
Diamond and Pearl came out, but Gen 4
that
also
also
includes
guarantees
Platinum.
that Team
It also
Momo
includes Heart Gold and Soul
will win the
Silver.
Marble League All-Stars.
That's kind of it, right? Yes. We just had the Marble League for 2023. But we're still in Generation 9. We still got this counts, the showdown, anything else that happens. We're still in Gen 9. Gen 10 doesn't come until the O'Rangers League. Or whatever number we're on.
Yellow's Marble Runs is excited to announce the launch of our toy brand.
I was hopeful. I was hopeful we'd at least do something. Alright, so I've got my D-Ultimate dice. Let's just give it a roll. I gave it a roll last week and it did okay. Let's give it another roll. It paused it, so that's not... Okay, let's do another reroll.
Marble Run sets. And to track their progress, you can use one of the 5 competition racing brackets we've included. So come and join the Yellow's Marble
No,
Run
actually,
community,
wait, that might be a
and let's
14.
race. Shop now
Okay, it's a
on
14.
yellowsmarbleruns.com.
It's a 14 on the D20.
Still
A 6 on the D6, a 6 on the D12, a 4 on the D3, or D4 I mean, 4 on the D4, 4 on the D8, and 40 on the percentile. A lot of 4s there, but I mean a 14's not terrible.
To determine who will win the championship in the Marble League All-Stars. Great move around the outside there for Savage Speeders, but they also get past, and they're going to get beaten to the line. That was very
So is this
close.
now just elimination, whoever's in last?
Team Galactic and Savage Speeders all up there. Raspberry Racers finish in the bottom half.
Oh, okay, we actually did pretty decent there.
This was just after that move. Look at
Yeah.
that go to the inside.
I thought this was the next... I admittedly was not paying attention after the ad. Okay, we get 10th.
And they are beaten by
I mean, that's
Team
not
Galactic.
great. That's probably going to leave us exactly where we left off. But we didn't do as bad as the Green Ducks.
All right, we are ready for the final. This is the last
All right,
event.
here's the actual
The
final
last run
event.
of the last event. In the Marble League All-Stars, who wins the gold? Team Momo does well here. They will win the championship. Right now, it's a great battle.
I
between
did
the
not
Midnight
know
Wisp
that.
And the O'Rangers, the Clothespin Snappers have gone. Over the line come the O'Rangers.
Wow, the O'Rangers, really?
And Team Momo.
And Team Momo, that also makes a lot of sense.
After winning the 2024
No, that makes sense.
Winter Marble
I get that.
League, they want some mo.
Holy shit.
And they get it.
Is this the O'Rangers trying to justify why they should be the hosts?
And another championship.
Because honestly, I don't think a
trendy
gold makes
Team
them
Momo.
win it. Maybe it might. But I know a lot of people were mad that the O'Rangers are hosting this year. And is this them trying to be like, no, we should be the hosts? Look at us do good here. If that's what they came to prove, I mean, it's going to be close.
Minty Mint getting silver. And the eponymous
But
Momo
also, the O'Ranger,
getting
or the
bronze.
Team Momo just won. They just won the league. They just came in third here. They might also be fine. Because I want to say they were pretty high up as well.
The Goliaths within the Marble League All-Stars, presented by Mint Mobile. The O'Rangers, they were down in 12th, by the way, in the standings.
Okay, so they were
Have
low.
not
I couldn't
gotten
remember.
a gold medal yet until this event.
I know they couldn't win it.
Minty
I don't even think they
Maniacs,
could
pick up
podium
their
with that,
second
actually.
silver.
Because I want to say the cutoff
Team
was
Momo,
with us at
their
10.
first bronze, but their 4th medal overall.
We did not win a
Should
single
also
medal
mention,
this
by the way,
entire
that the
All-Stars.
most valuable
That
marble
kind of
race
sucks, you know.
does
I hate
go
when that
to
happens.
Resi. Momo needed a
But
top
luckily,
two
this isn't the
finish
main
at
league,
top
so
of
it doesn't
that
fully
level
count.
and couldn't do it.
We're still
Resi
not one of the,
wins that honor.
dozen, half
The
dozen
stadium has given us
teams.
so many wonderful
that
moments,
have
both in the
won a medal.
proper Marble League and in the
Because
Marble
this
League
doesn't count.
All-Stars.
This is a different
The
thing.
fans thrilled to get back in here to see this All-Star.
But yeah,
event.
All-Stars was okay. You know,
See the
I wish there had been more summer
champion in
events.
just a moment's time.
I get
The
it.
final standings.
Yeah,
The final
Momo
calculations.
literally
Team
just
Momo
went. They won the main league,
overall title.
and then they won
Savage
All-Stars
Speeders
again.
come in second,
Of course, Savage
and the
Speeders,
Multimaniacs
one of the best team in the league, winning second. Doesn't surprise me at all. Minty Maniacs actually does. I mean, they've been doing... Again, they didn't make it into the main league this year. But, actually, they're basically, to use a different sport metaphor, they were the Kansas City Chiefs of this event. They didn't win the game, but they still made it very far.
Before the end of this video.
Well, that's actually...
to Team Momo
to win it back-to-back.
in this year's
It's actually kind of
Marble
wild.
League All-Stars. We thank you so much for watching, everyone.
But yeah, I
As we
thought...
take a look at our final standings. Let's reminisce
We're
on what were some
11th.
great moments.
I mean, we could
Until
be
we
the
see you
Green
next
Ducks.
time, I'm Greg
I forgot
Woods.
the Pinkies
So
were
long,
even
everyone.
here. You know? Yeah. You know, All-Star... I think All-Stars is a good idea. I like the idea of All-Stars, especially for the 10-year anniversary. I wasn't blown away by anything, you know, it sucks that we didn't win a single medal anywheres, but we were doing really... Those first 8 events, like I said, we were the highest ranked team to not have a single medal. I lost. I came in 11th. And the team that won again. Wow, the winning team keeps winning. Both of them. Yeah, no, I didn't realize the O'Rangers weren't 12th. I thought they... I guess I thought... Maybe I was confusing the O'Rangers and the Raspberry Racers, who also did pretty decent. Yeah, that's the All-Stars. And I think that's the last Marble League thing we have for a while. Because I know the Showdown is coming up, but I don't have any plans to stream the Showdown. Because I don't think we streamed the qualifiers. At least I don't think I did. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't actually intend to stream All-Stars either. It was a very spur-of-the-moment thing. Anything else you watch besides Marble Runs? I mean, like, something like this that, you know, I do on a weekly basis? No. And again, we're kind of in the off-season right now. All we've got left is the Showdown. Other than that, we're basically in the off-season. Because, yeah, we've got the Showdown, or the Snowdown, excuse me. Which, you know, it'll happen soon. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything else I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, man, All-Stars was fine. Like I said, I kind of want them to run it back with the lower ranked teams. I feel like that'd be interesting. I don't know, what, should we start doing One Piece on stream? You know, every week we sit down and we watch 6 One Piece episodes. It'll only take us, like, I don't know, a few years to get caught up. When I saw that, when I found out One Piece was going on break, and that if you watched 6 episodes of One Piece a day, 2 hours basically a day, you would be caught up with One Piece by the time it returned, and you would also be ahead of the baby who is watching 1 episode a day. As far as I know, it's still on break, yeah. But when I heard that, like, oh, this is your perfect chance to get caught up and get ahead of the One Piece baby, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should watch One Piece. Just to do those 2 things. I ended up not doing that, obviously. Because I don't watch any... Because I have not gotten to any anime recently. Yeah. I actually have no idea how far the baby is. I guess I should do the outro. I don't know. I guess I could... I'm going to look it up right now. Oh, I also got a Pokemon card pack to open. I was going to do that in the outro as well. Let me see. One Piece baby. The One Piece baby is at day 407. So they're at episode 407. So they're actually pretty far in. Like, I know that's less than half, but that's still higher than I'd expected. No, I'm not opening the Pokemon card on the webcam. No. And it's literally just the mobile app, right? Pokemon Pocket TCG. Yeah, 407. No. I'm just gonna, open up the app. Let me... Actually, I don't know if the music's copyrighted. I pulled it in so I've been using, the Pokemon TCG app. I pulled in Infernape, a full art Infernape the other day. That was pretty good. I pulled full art Giratina. Alright, I'm opening a Space Time Smackdown Palkia pack. I don't know if you can hear that. I got a Chatot, a Chimchar, an Ambipom. Oh, Palkia EX! Ooh, not the full art, just, Palkia EX. And a second Palkia EX! Holy shit! I got 2 Palkia EXs in one pack. Oh my gosh, that actually happened. I know I don't have picks. Or, picks or it didn't happen. And I know I don't have picks. But trust me, that did just happen. Holy shit, 2 Palkias. I don't need 2 Palkias. Alright, I just needed the 1, but I'll take 2. Oh, maybe I can turn the second one into trading tokens. Because it's not like the game completely fucked up its trading mechanic. And even though they say they're going to fix it, they're never actually going to fix it. And secretly, we all know it. Oh man, what happened? Kids these days with their apps and gizmos. We had to stop at our local Walmart or any store to open a physical pack of cards. Kids these days. Man, fuck opening physical packs of cards. Man, that was literally just child gambling. It was legal child gambling. And admittedly, loot box child gambling is way worse than it was trading card-wise. But it's literally just child gambling, man. And, like, yes, I'm just glad I've never spent money on this game. That's my one rule. Is, I get my 2 free hits a day, get my 2 little shots of cocaine, but other than that, I will never spend money on this game. And I will never buy real Pokemon cards ever again. I got back into Lego, man, and that takes so much of my fucking money. But I will never get back into Pokemon cards. Because that's the thing about a gambling addiction. And, while I do not have a gambling addiction, shit, according to Satan, things like that are recessive. And, I know people who have those issues in my family, and I don't want to have that issue. So that's why I set rules, and I don't spend money on freemium games. Instead, I store all my money under the mattress like a sane American, because I know the president's going to collapse the stock market. Trust me, he's been trying. Take no chances, stop freelancing, invest in your future, dilute your finances, 401k, that's what I say, something, 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 YOLO. YOLO, say no, no. I'm referencing the song YOLO by The Lonely Island. Back in my day, we used to listen to The Lonely Island. Back when SNL used to be good, and they made funny jokes. Nowadays, all the kids listening to their Moodangs and watching their Timothy Chalamet look-alike contests. Back in my day, things used to be totally different. You kids these days. Actually, I think I know people hate modern SNL, but SNL is kind of one of those things where, like... Here's the thing about SNL. The best SNL will be the SNL when you first started watching it. Right? I listened to Bill Murray explain this the other day, that, people will say, like, oh, your Saturday Night Live was the best. Right? Kids nowadays don't have you. But in actuality, whatever SNL you watch is the one you're gonna like. And, things change. I know character theory versus game theory. I don't have time to explain how comedy works, plus I don't fully understand it. But, things change. What the kids are doing nowadays on modern SNL, it is perfectly fine. They have gotten some funny jokes in there. Right? That Domingo thing blew up because it was actually funny. They get good jokes in every once in a while. Even though it's not the SNL I grew up with, it's still perfectly fine. God, look at me being a fucking boomer. Alright, okay, that's where I'm ending off for tonight. I'm sure, I know there was more stuff I had to say about Captain America. I should have written it down. I should have written everything down, and I just didn't. I just know I made my one major point. That was the one I wanted to make. So yeah. So next week, I'll be back with Donkey Kong. 100%. We are beating Donkey Kong next week. Sometimes we're all boomers. Yeah, next week, we're back with Donkey Kong. I'm going to guess it's going to take like 3 hours to beat that game. Because I've heard World 8 is brutal. That final world kicks your ass. So I am not looking forward to that. But we're going to do that. I'm sure there's other things we have to do as well. And then my goal right now is that sometime in March, we're going to do Echoes of Wisdom. I want to do Echoes of Wisdom. I'm aiming to do it in March. I think we'll be able to do that. But, you know, that's still a little bit away. But I think that's where we're going to end off for tonight. So I hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.